Thank you for your interest in the game of Melee. The home side is the 9 spaces where the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Admiral, the President, the General, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army start the game. The domain is the home side plus 3 rows in front of the home side. So be this row, this row, this row, and this row. And from this position across the board and then back again. That particular area represents the domain of this family of pieces. This wall is called the home side wall for this dark team, this dark family. The Marine is like the pawn in a game of chess. The Marine is the only piece that could go onto the wall without taking the piece. The Marine may move 2 spaces diagonally to the left, diagonally to the right, or forward on its first move. After its first move, the Marine can only move 1 position at a time, either forward, diagonally, or laterally. The Marine can take another piece, moving diagonally or forward. A Marine can enter onto the wall anywhere along the wall. Once upon the wall, it can only take another piece in a lateral attack. The Marine, however, when it's on the end of the wall, has the ability to attack and move forward, diagonally, as well as laterally. It can move to any of these squares, plus it could take an enemy piece at any one of these squares. Once upon the wall, the Marine has the power, and only on the wall, to move backwards, as well as forwards. A Marine that enters upon the home side wall of his neighbor can only move and capture a piece when it moves to the left or the right. Exception is when it's at the end of the wall. At the end of the wall, it can move and capture 1 space left and right. It can also move and capture 1 space forward and move and capture 1 space diagonally. If a Marine should reach the home side of an opponent, it will explode, killing all pieces within a 2 square radius. For example, this Marine would take this Navy and explode, killing this Air Force and this Admiral and this Marine and this Marine. Those pieces can never be placed back into the game. Once it explodes, this Marine dies but is reincarnated and has to be placed back in any free position in the row before the home side where it began. In this particular case, this space is open, so he goes there. The Army is similar to the castle in the game of chess. The Army is the only piece that could take a Marine or another army when it's on the wall, even though it itself is not on the wall. The Army could move left, right, forward, or back in any amount of spaces. The Army, however, cannot move or take a piece on the water. It cannot move over or onto a wall. The Army, however, can take a piece that is on the wall. Once on the wall, it can only take another piece that is on the wall. It cannot take a piece that is off the wall. However, it can move off the wall on any square it occupies on the wall. For example, now it could come off the wall and land there. The navy is similar to a knight in the game of chess. The navy moves by going 2 spaces forward, left or right, and then 1 space over left or right. It can only take a piece on its final position, just like a knight in chess. The navy cannot, however, go over a wall. The navy cannot land on the wall. The navy, however, can move and take pieces on the water. The Air Force is similar to the bishop in the game of chess. The Air Force is the only piece that can fly over walls and water, although it cannot take a piece on the wall or the water. The Air Force can fly diagonally in any direction. It can go over water, it can go over walls, but it cannot land on the water, and it cannot land on the walls, and it cannot take a piece on the water, and it cannot take a piece on the walls. In a situation like this, the Air Force cannot take that Marine because it flies over another piece. But in a situation where a Marine of the same family is standing next to the enemy Marine, then this Air Force can take the enemy Marine, as if this Marine was radioing in the position of that Marine. Now this Air Force could come in and capture the enemy Marine. The Air Force can also change its color. On one move, it could go into a black square in any direction, but it cannot take a piece when it makes this move. The Admiral is similar to the Queen in the game of chess. The Marine, the Navy, and the Admiral are the only pieces that could land and take pieces on the water. The Admiral could move and capture pieces any amount of spaces diagonally, forward and backwards, left and right. It cannot, however, capture a piece or go over a wall or land on a wall. It can capture pieces on the water and move on to the water. The General is similar to the Queen in the game of chess. The General is the only piece that could fly over a wall, go over a wall and take a piece on the other side, although it cannot land on the wall. The General has the power to move forward and back, diagonally and left and right, any amount of spaces. However, it cannot move onto the water, and it cannot capture pieces on the water. The General has the ability to move over a wall and capture a piece on the wall, or it can move over a wall to any space on the other side of the wall. The exception is if the General is blocked by a piece that is already on the wall. In that case, the General cannot go over the wall, and it certainly cannot capture a piece that's on the wall. The President is similar to the King in a game of chess. The President can move in any direction, frontwards, backwards, left, right, or diagonally, in any one of these squares. The President cannot move on to the wall or take a piece that is on the wall. The President cannot move or take a piece that's on the water, and it cannot move on the water. If you place your opponent's President in a position to be taken, then you must say melee. If you do not say melee, you may not take the opponent's President in your next move. Please refer to the rule book for more details on how to play the game. And be sure to check regularly with my website www.playmelee.com for any updates in the rules or game types. Thank you for your interest.